Alright, for the 9 patch block you're going to need, you're going to decide where you want your background to be, either in the corners or in the center. So if you decide to have them in the corners, then you will need 5 pieces for your background. Make sure your right sides are up. So I've got my 5, and then your pattern fabric, you'll need 4. Depending on the size that you want your block, you'll cut your squares to that size. So, but this is what we are going to start with to sew a 9 patch quilt block. I've moved my squares to a transferable board. So this is the Steady Betty that you can find online. It's something you can iron on. So it's got a little sponge grippy, and it doesn't let your fabrics scoot when you're pressing them. So it's really great. But it's a great surface to lay something out. So I laid my block out, and I'm going to sew the block together. So I just needed something to transfer it over to there. Now that I have my pieces over, I'm going to start at the top and stitch my row sections together. And I'm going to just chain piece, so I'm going to grab my next 2 pieces. I'm not going to snip my thread or cut it. I'm just going to keep on sewing my next row. And here is my last row. So now what I'm going to do is snip off my first section and open it up, make sure I've got the pieces in the right place, and I'm going to sew my last piece to that row. I'm going to repeat this for the next section. Again, making sure I've got the right fabric on the outside, and then placing what I'm going to sew on top. And my last section right here. So I know my background is out on the corner, so I'm going to make sure that that is correct and finish. Now that I have the block together, what I can do is snip the first 2 sections and sew these together. And I'm going to want to nest these seams. So there is a seam right there, and I want to make sure that one part of the seam is going up, the other part of the seam is going down, so they lay flat and really nice together. Going to continue on adjusting that last seam. Okay, I'm at the end, so I will want to cut my thread and snip off this last section. Going to open this up. So this is the top part of the block, and then I've got my last section for the bottom. So I am going to sew these 2 together and line this up really quick. And then adjust my seams. So this section's already been sewn, so I know the seam is going down, so that back seam needs to go up. And my last one. Make some readjustments here. I can press this if I have problems. I can press this as well prior to sewing it. Alright, so now I've got my block done, and snip my threads, and I can open it up, and here is my 9 patch quilt block.